Red wanted to talk and introduce me, but I said, I only got 10 minutes. So I'll tell you what she tells people when she does introduce me. She says, I married Bobby for his body, but I kept him for his money. I always say she married me for the money she knew I'd have one day, okay? I'll be 75 years old in January. I know you women are thinking, get the body of an 18-year and you're trying to lay hands on me, eh? Or my money, one. We had our 50th wedding anniversary last November. In this picture, we were leaving the church after our wedding in 1968 and going to the wedding reception in the building next door. But I think in this picture, she was thinking about my body. We have 4 children, 2 girls, 2 boys. Here's a picture of the 4 of them. We have 10 grandkids, 5 girls and 5 boys. The oldest grandchild just got married a year ago, and the youngest is 2 years old. Red and I went through many tough times in 47 years, our 48th year in this business, and 50 years of marriage. Whenever divorce was mentioned, my great friend, Nick Elise, Primerica multi-millionaire, would always say, Bobby, it's cheaper to keep her. But Nick just didn't know that in Red's case, it's not really that much cheaper to keep her, okay? But let's cut to the chase, because I'll run out of time. So listen fast. Let's talk about the real reason why all of us came to this convention this week here in Atlanta. We're all here in search of the big secret to big success in Primerica. Let me start by saying our Primerica home office leadership is the best it's ever been since our founder, Art Williams, was here. Glenn Williams and Peter Schneider and the whole world-class home office leadership staff are incredible. Our sales force leadership is the best it's ever been in our history. We're moving toward 100 people who are cash flowing $1 million per year for that ring. There are 2,778 $100,000 earners and above in Primerica that have the $100,000 ring and above. The top field leaders all believe for the first time in our history that we can build this sales force to 500,000 people, licensed people. We now have 130,000. We're going for 150,000 before the end of the year. And the serious leaders in this business really believe that long range, we're capable of doing 200, 300,000, 500,000, 1 million people in this business. And that means opportunity for all of you. Our market has over 400 million people in it that can handle that growth. They're just waiting for us to go knocking on their doors. There are sales forces out there right now that have other sales forces that have 1 million salespeople. But none of them have the opportunity that Primerica has. When we go to 300,000, 500, 1 million people, we're going to need to have folks, 1,000, minimum, 1,000 $1 million a year earners, and a minimum of $50,000 to $100,000 ring wearers. You should have been in that meeting the other day. The RVP meeting had 5,000 people in there. $1,000 million. Now I know you don't really. Most of y'all don't believe that yet. But do you think that it was Rusty Crossland and Randall and Mary Walker and Bobby and Red Buisson making $500 a month in a Waffle House booth with Art Williams? Do you think that we'd be in a position, we ever thought we'd be the visionaries of the company? Do you think that we thought we'd ever be making millions of dollars? People ask all the time, Bobby, when it was you and Art and a handful of other early visionaries in the company, have things worked out about the way y'all planned them in that Waffle House booth? And I say, yes, of course, they've worked out just about like we planned. Bull. I was leaning across the table in that Waffle House booth saying, Art, you got any ideas about how I could get some more appointments? Sort of like many of y'all are doing right now, huh? So I'm going to tell you how simple the secret to big success in Primerica is, because there's no limit in Primerica. We're going to be one of the biggest and greatest companies in all of America, and there's no limit for you and your family how big you can build your business. Now, You don't have to know all about those companies and all those products to get this thing started in the right direction. Sometimes I wonder if we overwhelming new recruits and maybe even running some of them off, scaring them to death with all this stuff we got. You're gonna learn all that stuff, one little baby step at a time, like every dang thing you ever did in your life. You're gonna do the same thing here. Our business is a simple business. It's not easy, but it's simple. Watch how simple it is. Here is what all of us do. We go out every day. We go out every day and have little bitty, teeny weeny, itsy bitsy, little bitty, tiny conversations with people in an attempt to set up an appointment where we can have a bigger conversation with them about our company, our products, and our opportunity. That's what we all do. That's simple. Now, yeah, there's more details, but you're gonna learn all that crap one little baby step at a time, like everything else you ever did. Jimmy Myers starts off by saying, are you somebody that keeps your options open? And now he's making over $2 million a year. Mark Younger was driving a FedEx delivery truck, pulls up to one of our California offices, and he's bringing a package, and there the guy's signing, he's looking around, he said, what do y'all do here? Why is everybody so excited? And now he's making over $2 million a year. He made a bad mistake asking that question. Sam Shepard was working in the belly of an airplane, taking luggage off the airplane and bringing it to the Atlanta airport. And he mentioned to one of his coworkers that, I gotta find something else to make some more money. He said, Sam, I went to this meeting last week. Why don't you come this week with me? He's making over $2 million a year for years, and now he's going for $3 million. That's what we all do, folks. You don't have to know all this stuff on all those slides before you go get your business moving. You'll learn all that one little baby step at a time, like everything else you ever learned in your life. I was an all-Southeastern Conference basketball player. When I was born, I didn't pop out of my mama dribbling and shooting like a professional. In fact, I was pretty bad. I dribbled like that and shot like this. But repetition is the mother of learning about everything. You don't need to learn all this overwhelming stuff right now. You're going to learn it one little baby step at a time. So listen to this. Everything good that happens in this business, you make your first appointment, you make your first sale, you make $500 or $1,000 a month part-time, you make 50 grand, 100 grand, $1 million, everything good. Promote somebody to district, division, RVP. You make RVP. Everything good that happens in this business starts when one human being goes out and talks to another human being. And nothing good ever happens until somebody does. So, 95% of our time should be spent, our time and effort should be spent having little bitty, teeny little bitty conversations with people in an attempt to set up an appointment. Instead of wasting all the time we waste on other things, right? Ladies, you can talk all day long about your shoes and your dresses and your children and your jewelry and your houses, and the retail stores don't sell all that stuff. You sell it to each other. Us guys, when we hear like girl talk, we walk out of the room, we go to the next room, and we talk about football and basketball and baseball and soccer and who's the best NFL quarterback in the history of the NFL. And we're all pretty good at talking to people about all that stuff because we've been talking about it all our lives. And then we get into this business, and for a period of time, we sit around sucking our thumbs and beating ourselves up, talking to ourselves and saying, I don't know nothing about insurance or the stock market. or investing. I don't think I can recruit all those people. I don't have the right personality to be a salesman. You see, you got to get really, really good at talking to people about Primerica, because when you're not good at talking to people about Primerica, you don't make no appointments. And when you're not good at talking to people about Primerica, if you do make an appointment, you don't make no sales, and you don't recruit nobody. And then you develop the false conclusion that this don't work. It does work, you ain't doing it enough. You see, you got to get, the only skill you got to develop to be great in this business, the only skill is you got to get really, really good at talking to people about Primerica. We already can talk. We're good talkers about all this other stuff. When you do get good at talking to people about Primerica, you start making appointments, making sales, recruiting people, and developing leaders. And you build your business. So you see, the only skill you got to develop to be great in this business is you got to get really, really good at talking to people about Primerica. If that's true, and it is, how do you get really, really good at talking to people about Primerica? There's two things you got to do to get really, really good at talking to people about Primerica, which is the only skill you got to develop to be great in this business. You got to talk to lots and lots of people. Stupid. Buisson, I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to me. I'm looking in my mirror. And you should look in your mirror every morning when you're putting on your makeup and when you're shaving and tell yourself, hey, stupid. The only skill you got to develop to be great in this business is you got to get really, really good at talking to people about Primerica. And there's two things you got to do to get good at talking to people about Primerica. The first one is you got to talk to lots and lots of people. Stupid. Not one a month. If you talk to one, I asked a group last night, I said, if you're talking to one person a month, how long do you think it's going to take you to make 50 grand? Somebody from the audience says, 20 years. I said, no, centuries. So the first thing you got to do to get really, really good at talking to people about Primerica is you got to talk to lots and lots of people. That's how you get good at talking to people. And the second thing you got to do is you got to show up early and stay late for everything. Not every once in a while when you can't find something else to get in the way of massive success. Now look, if you're part-time, I know you can't go to all the meetings and you can't travel all over the country like the full-time people do. It's a concept. But if you really get it, if you really get the fact that you are staring right in the mug at a multi-million-dollar opportunity, and if you understand that what we are doing at Primerica can have a dramatic impact on people's lives, then you start showing up early and staying late for everything. And you get really, really good at talking to people about Primerica. Then you start making appointments that you weren't making before, and you start making sales you weren't making before, and you start recruiting people, and your confidence grows. And instead of being afraid to go talk to people, you start getting excited about talking to people to show them that what you can do for them. Because you know now you can have a dramatic positive impact on their lives. I was making $560 a month teaching and coaching when I met Art Williams in 1972, 47 years ago. Primerica has paid me millions of dollars since then, and I have a lot more money. I've made a lot more money from my investments because I practiced what Art preached. You can do this, like Arlie said. God is good. He gave all of us Primerica. Think of people who have never heard of Primerica. But just remember, the more people you talk to about Primerica, the more God will bless you. My mama used to always say, God helps those who help themselves. So just go do it and do it and do it until the job gets done. And I pray that God will bless you abundantly. Amen.